Yo, what is up, Ninja? OG over here from Player Essence, and welcome to another News Essence video. Today, we've got some awesome information from Nintendo saying that, or at least apparently, holding off on a Switch 2.0 and more pushing peripherals in order to boost sales. We also have some information on Square Enix in terms of them kind of shuffling things up when it comes to their leadership. And of course, the new Game Plus update for Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is dropping tomorrow, so we got some information on that. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get right into today's news. And we're starting off with Nintendo. Apparently, the Wall Street Journal has written up a new article discussing that Nintendo will hold off on a Switch 2.0, and it looks like they're going to be pushing peripherals in order to boost sales. Now, this isn't something that's confirmed. This isn't 100%. We can't sit here and say, okay, this is happening for sure. This is more of a rumor and sources with the Wall Street Journal that are saying this. So I did want to say what they said so we don't get any words twisted or anything like that. So Nintendo Co. is looking to peripherals to lift the sales pace of its Switch video game console in the product's second year on the market, rather than changing its basic hardware, say people familiar with the company's plans. Now, there's a little bit more, of course, if you want to read. They also talk about how Nintendo's planning to sell 17 million systems, or right around that, by March, which is the end of the current fiscal year. So that's good as well. But I think that, yeah, Nintendo's probably not going to revise the Nintendo Switch. This is just me speculating on the matter. Nintendo's probably not going to revise it in the second year. I think it's still a little too early to revise it when you're having the success that you're having. Most people are happy with the build and happy with the system by itself. There are some more of the tech-savvy people that necessarily think that it needs a complete revision and all that, but they're not the ones who are actually paying for the manufacturing and all the stuff like that and looking at how much it would cost. The Switch already is, I would say, up to the price in terms of like how much it costs to manufacture compared to what they sell it at. It's not like they're making a killing off of each Nintendo Switch sold. It's not like the Beats headphones, that are like $14 and they sell them for like 200 or 300, something like that. So it's not like they're making a killing off of what they're manufacturing and producing right at this point. They're making more of the money off of the software and other things like that. So I can see Nintendo just saying, yeah, we're gonna do stuff like Labo, we're gonna do stuff like the Nintendo Online, we're gonna do just the games. Those are gonna be the things that really help push the system. And I think Pokemon, for example, is going to come within the current fiscal year that runs from March to March next year. So it's obviously going to drop sometime in between then. They also have Metroid, they have Bayonetta 3. They have a bunch of games that they can do in order to boost sales. You don't need to revise anything at this point, considering that there's still people who don't have a Nintendo Switch that want to get one in certain parts of the world. They still need to launch in China. There's a lot of things that they need to do in order to boost sales before they do a revision. I think getting the system out worldwide, that's probably the biggest thing. And also getting all of your ideas, getting your bigger IPs, getting everything out on the system, and then revise it. Then you can revise it going into the next fiscal year. So in the third year, maybe you revise it. This year, I don't think it's a good idea just because they still have stuff to drop. I think you don't want to drop too many at this point. Some people are still shocked and surprised the Switch is even still doing as well as it is. There's still a lot more third-party games to come. So to me, it makes sense that they're going to hold off on this. I'm not exactly sure how long it took for the Nintendo 3DS to get a revision. I think it was at least 2 or 3 years, right? I remember talking about it back like in 2013 or 2014, like, hey, Nintendo's going to drop some type of like revision that boosts things. And I think then when we got the new Nintendo 3DS. So I think it's going to be at least 3 years before we see anything when it comes to like a new Switch or a revision or a model upgrade or something like that. Nintendo's in a good spot with this system. There's no need for them to actually revise anything with it. I know some people would want that, but at the same time, I just don't think it makes financial sense at this point. And I think that when we get Labo, when we get some of these other games, that's going to be the boosting factor, because at the end of the day, that's really what it comes down to. It comes down to the games, and it comes down to what Nintendo does with those. So how can they entice more people to hop onto Nintendo Switch, whether it's through peripherals, whether it's through other games that they're doing, whether it's through their online. Like, those are the type of things that are really going to boost stuff up. I mean, we're going to see what happens with the virtual console, how they handle that. So these are all the factors that kind of play into it. And of course, marketing. Marketing's always going to be a big thing. The close call commercials, those were amazing. It pretty much tells you exactly what you need to know. Nice action in them. So having great marketing and kind of the other factors are going to be what they need. I think it's still just way too early to be talking about a revision at this point. I like the Nintendo Switch. I think it's great. I think it's doing a really good job in terms of attracting new consumers. A lot of core gamers are coming around to the system, in addition to more casuals, and kids will be coming in with Labo, parents that can play games with their kids. So I think it all works out that way. So what do you guys think about Nintendo? Apparently, like I said, with this rumor that they're holding off on it, although Nintendo hasn't stated anything when it comes to a Switch 2.0. So like I said, it is a rumor because they're just saying they have sources that say this, but at the same time, there's no talk or anything of this even happening. So I kind of just see it as like a statement or whatever from them. So Nintendo hasn't said anything on the matter, but still at this point, we need to wait and see. You never know. Nintendo's tricky as heck, man. They can just announce something at the end of the year or something like that, but we have to just wait. But overall, it looks like they're not going to be doing that based on this article here. So let me know you guys' thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving into the next article here, Square Enix announces a change in directors and executive officers. So we've got 2 directors out. We've got 8 new directors in. So Square Enix has announced changes in its directors and executive officers, with directors Keiji Honda and Yukinobu Chida to resign on March 31st. And 8 new directors will be inaugurated on April 1st. Now, there's a full press release talking over everything, but I don't want to get into that. And I'm kind of wondering what's going on at Square Enix. And I've talked about them multiple times, a couple different rant videos in terms of what's going on. I think they're better than where they were like last generation. Like in the 7th generation, Square Enix had a lot of issues. Obviously, they were struggling to get Final Fantasy 15 up and going. The Final Fantasy 13 trilogy of games, or first start of games, was not going well either. That did not sell up to expectations. There were just all sorts of issues they were having. We didn't get any real new Secret of Manas or Chrono Triggers or anything like that. There was just problems all around. They had a couple other flops too. Really, the only thing that went well for them was like Tomb Raider and a couple other things like Deus Ex and Tomb Raider. That's about it. Their Western branches. So Square Enix did have some issues. Now they rebounded nicely, I would say. They got Final Fantasy 15 finally out. They've done some other good stuff. Final Fantasy 12, the Zodiac Age. They finally turned around Final Fantasy 14. That game was a mess last generation. Then they fixed it. They got that going as well. So they've been doing some good things, but there's obviously some dissent in terms of what's going on. There's some skepticism in terms of the people who are leading the company. That's why some of those are out and they're bringing some new people in. And I honestly feel that they need a change in direction when it comes to their game time management. When it comes to Final Fantasy, I think that they think the franchise is so much bigger in terms of the actual what you need to do for the game that it actually is. They think that it needs to have the highest end graphics, that it needs to do the highest end in order to push the visual thing for everyone and kind of not focus on the actual gameplay. Because I think the past few Final Fantasy games have really been focusing on actual graphics more than actual gameplay, which is just insane, which people would have never done back in the day. It was always a balance between the two. But today's day, Final Fantasy is definitely more style over substance. I think that's kind of clear based on what we've seen with Final Fantasy 15 with this game, and how they've actually added a multiple different things in terms of gameplay after the game launched that probably should have been in there from the beginning. Like any normal RPG veteran would have put certain stuff in there, like switching party members, for example. The fact that we had to wait afterwards like a year to switch party members, I mean, that's the type of stuff that you should have just put in from the very beginning. So that's what I'm talking about. So I don't know if all this will actually change their approach to Final Fantasy, but I'm begging and I'm hoping that it does, because Final Fantasy games, or at least their Final Fantasy games, take way too long to come out. They stress way too much graphics and stuff over actual gameplay. Look at Lightning Returns, look at Final Fantasy 13. I mean, they really need to focus on what's important and getting the games out in a normal, like feasible timeline. And I think if they focused on gameplay first instead of having the greatest graphics ever, or at least trying to do that, then they would, and cinematics and all of that. So I'm hoping that this can actually change that up so they can get Final Fantasy games out in a better time period, 2 years, 3 years, and that kind of like cut it up into that. I mean, I would hope it would be like that in terms of the next Final Fantasy games and what they're trying to do. Kingdom Hearts have obviously had issues as well, so hopefully that gets, oh my gosh, we can just go on about Kingdom Hearts. That game was announced in 2013 and they're still not done with it. So it's just one of those things to where, like I said, I don't want to put too much assumptions on all of this stuff, and obviously I'm just going over my own personal things. Obviously I know a lot of you guys like what Square Enix is doing and you're fine with what they're doing, and that's cool. I mean, they've had Dragon Quest, which was successful. They've had other games, smaller stuff. We're getting The World Ends With You. That's really cool. We're getting Dragon Quest 11 on the Nintendo Switch this year, and also a worldwide release. So that's great. Project Octopath Bravely Default. There's been a lot of successes, guys. I don't want to make it seem as if I'm piling on top of them, but at the same time, there are some issues that I'm pretty sure that these changes in terms of what they're doing kind of played into it in terms of that. So what do you guys think about Square Enix and what's going down here, them changing some directors? If you want the full list, make sure you check out the link in the description below. There's a lot more information there. All right, and moving on to the final article here, we do have a confirmation that New Game Plus will be dropping tomorrow on the Nintendo Switch for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Yes, the New Game Plus for Xenoblade Chronicles 2. There will be a bunch of new quality of life improvements according to Nintendo, and you'll also be able to use the Torna blades as well, so that's awesome because they are really cool too. So this New Game Plus update has me really excited for a couple different reasons. One, because you have the New Game Plus, which is going to be added in to where after you beat the game, you can actually keep a lot of your inventory, a lot of your stuff, and kind of go through the story again. I don't know if there's going to be an extra difficulty mode in terms of things. I think that they said they're going to make an easier mode, so I'm hoping that they actually add a harder mode as well, or maybe that they do drop it. Maybe it's like a surprise. There's going to be some new quests, apparently. There's going to be some new items. There's going to be some more things that they're just adding in to make Xenoblade Chronicles 2 already a masterpiece of this generation, making even more of a masterpiece with this update, so I'm really excited about that. I've been trying so hard to get through the game, and I just didn't have any time last night to play it just because I was doing adult stuff and paying bills and all that. It was absolutely horrible, and I realized that being an adult is not that cool. It's just really not that cool. So I want to play the game more, and I'm definitely going to play it more today during the day. I'm going to try to get most of the work done so I can get that done for you guys, because I really want to play some New Game Plus and stream it sometime this week or next week. I don't know, it might be too late to stream it this week, but next week for sure. Definitely want to stream some New Game Plus, so I really need to beat the game. I'm almost done. I'm like right there. What do you guys think about this New Game Plus and Xenoblade Chronicles 2 yourself, guys? I'm still working on my review, so please just be a bit more patient on that one. I also have Sword Art Online Fatal Bolt, which I'm going to be reviewing as well, so that's going to be fun too. A lot of great Japanese RPGs just kind of coming all over the place, and Xenoblade keeps on updating and updating. Then I have the season pass. I still need to play some of the quests that I got from the last season pass. So what do you guys think about the New Game Plus update dropping tomorrow for Xenoblade Chronicles 2? You guys gonna be getting into that? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We've got Facebook, we've got Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of PlayerEssence across the interwebs in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon, Twitch, and YouTube live gaming page. Consider supporting PlayerEssence. When you do so, it gets you access to all sorts of cool benefits, perks, rewards, and emotes via YouTube sponsorship. So check out the link in the description below and consider supporting PlayerEssence right here on YouTube. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you for the next video. Peace.